And ladies and gentlemen, we will now return to FinTech Outlook session, charting in the course Indonesia Fintech 2024 and beyond. This session will be conducted in English. If you need interpretation assistance, we have provided interpretation devices for your convenience located around the interpreter boxes behind you. And this session will be moderated by Mr. Alwin Jabarti Kimas, serving as the Deputy Secretary General 3 of IFSE. Please allow me to briefly read his profile. Bapak Alwin Kimas is Vice Secretary General 3 of the Indonesia Fintech Association, IFSE. In addition, he also serves as Head of Indonesia Chamber of Commerce and Industry atau Kadin, Standing Committee in charge of esports and games industry, as well as CEO of Tekan Aja. Bapak Alwin was also a securities trader and risk taker in Citibank. He holds a degree in business administration from the University of Southern California. To Mr. Alwin Jabarti Kimas, the stage is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace be upon all of us. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, greetings of virtue. A very good afternoon to all of you, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen joining me here. I am Alwin Kimas, Vice Secretary General 3 of the Indonesian Fintech Association, IFSE. I am honored to be your moderator for this afternoon FinTech Outlook session of the Indonesian Fintech Summit and Expo IFSE 2023. In our session, we will be talking about charting the course Indonesia Fintech 2024 and beyond, where we will, among others, touch on achievement and challenges of Indonesia's fintech industry and digital economy ecosystem in recent years, potential factors impacting Indonesian fintech industry, and digital economy growth potentials in 2024 and beyond. Priority focuses and collaboration opportunities to further support optimal growth of Indonesian fintech industry and digital economy ecosystem 2024 and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, we are honored to have 3 seasoned economists as panelists. To join me on stage, I would like first to invite Head of Mandiri Institute, Bapak Teguh Yudo Wicaksono. Bapak Teguh Yudo Wicaksono's extensive career includes revenue policy advisor at Prospera and lead data analyst and policy health plus Palladium. He also holds a PhD in economics from the University of Kentucky. Hello and welcome. Next, to join me on stage, I would like to invite the head of University of Indonesia Institute for Economic and Social Research, LPEMFDE-UI, Bapak Caikal Nuryakin. Welcome, Pak. Bapak Caikal's career in University of Indonesia started in 2023 as researcher at the Laboratory of Economics. His extensive career in University of Indonesia includes undergraduate economic program director and head of research group regarding digital economy and behavioral economics. He also holds a PhD in economics from the National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies in Tokyo. Hello and welcome, Pak. And last but not least, to join me on stage, I would like to invite lead financial sector economist of World Bank, Mr. Francesco Strobri. Mr. Francesco has been a part of World Bank Group since 2010, leading financial sector development projects across Africa, Asia, and Eastern Europe. Before joining the World Bank Group, Mr. Francesco had experience with the European Central Bank and International Monetary Fund. He also holds a PhD in economics and management from the University of Padua, Italy. Hello and welcome. Panelists, such a pleasure to have all of you. Let's get started. You have your mics next to you, so if you, yeah. We start with Pak Teguh. Pak Teguh Yudo Wicaksono. In your opinion, how impactful has digital economy been towards Indonesia economic growth in recent years? And what do you think were the main factors causing high demand and growth of digital economy in Indonesia? Please, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Alvin. Thank you, friends from IFTech, to invite me. It's honored to be here to share some thoughts. So, if we look at on the digital economy in terms of the impact, of course, the impact is huge on the, on our economy. But one thing that I want to highlight is how digital economy has transformed our behavior, not only on consumers but also on the producers as well. So, for instance, like when we generally think about digital economy in terms of, like e-commerce platform. But digital economy is actually beyond that one. So, e-commerce platform is pretty much like the digitalizations of like distribution channels. But if we look at the recent trend, particularly on the sector like, let's say like logistic and trade, we have observed some sort of digitalization of business process. So for instance, if we see that so many mini market stores, actually what happened is because the adoptions of digital of these retailers allow them to manage very efficient inventory. So even like if you go to rural areas in remote, you thought that it's a remote area, you will find a mini market there. Because the distribution inventory management system is so efficient right now. And it's because of this digitalization. Another one, I think the new emerging trend is, of course, digital payments. We have like FinTech and also the adoptions of Cris. The impact is huge. So for instance, like in Bank Mandiri, we see the transaction based on Cris when in 2021, it was only like 1% of the total transactions. But now it takes like 20% of the total transactions, including the debit cards and credit card as well.
Wow, within 4 years, yeah, Pak?
Yes. So basically, it's the impact is huge. So we think that it's not only the changing in the behavior from debit card to Cris to the digital payments, but at the same time, there is also changing from cash usage into non-cash system. So for instance, if we even like in small stall vendors, toko gorengan, you can purchase things with Cris. It's unbelievable. We cannot imagine this new progress development in the past 5 years, and now it's so huge the impact.
Yeah. Now many stores also don't receive cash, they go cashless only.
It's true. Yeah. So yeah, that's digital payments and of course e-commerce platform, and this another I think emerging trend that might have some impact is cross-border payments. So for instance, that some of you that might travel to, let's say, Bangkok, Thailand, you see that you can use your Cris through your mobile banking apps directly. I think that's also another new opportunities for the financial sectors in terms of the cross-border payments. Okay. Thank you, Pak Alvin.
Thank you. Now, for Pak Chaikal Nur Yakin, Pak, FinTech is often seen as a tool for financial inclusion. How has FinTech contributed to expanding financial services and to the unbanked or underbanked population in Indonesia? And what more can be done, Pak?
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this prestigious event. Yeah. Maybe I start with the definition of bankable, underbanked, and unbanked, right? The bankable is the one who actually has sufficient financial literacy. So they are not just has sufficient income, but also has sufficient financial literacy. But the underbank is the one who already has a traditional bank account, but I think they not yet has ideal or optimal financial services, right? But for the unbanked is the one who doesn't have a traditional bank account. So the fintech, I think, maybe this just like maybe a critic for me. I think fintech is mainly targeting the underbanked, not yet into the unbanked. But it is okay because, yeah, you know, fintech already provided like digital payments, digital e-wallets, even microfinance and micro insurance, right? So, you know, in Bank Indonesia, they have like 3 stages of financial inclusion, in which the first one is they have basic saving account, and then payment and lendings, and then they have insurance, and the last is investments, right? So fintech, I think, is very crucial in contributing this deepening on the financial inclusion. How the underbanked could just have access on these financial services, right? That's one. But for the unbanked, I know that's, yeah, maybe there are still many challenges on how fintech could penetrate to the unbanked, because there are many, like, yeah, still very limited digital infrastructure, right? And we know that they are maybe living in a remote area, right? So this is not really because of the fintech, but maybe because of digital infrastructure, internet services, and telecommunications, something like that. And also in remote area, yeah, we know that there is a traditional, cultural, informal financial service already there, right? And I think it's very challenging for fintech, yeah, especially fintech lending, to penetrate these communities, rural communities, in which you have to fight against these cultural, traditional, informal financial services. So I think, yeah, I think it is crucial for fintech to innovate their financial services into more suitable for this specific type of communities. Yeah, I think that's for the unbanked, and yeah, to improve like the demand side of the financial services. So there are, yeah, I know that fintech and central banks, also OJK, already have program in improving digital financial literacy, right? But maybe for the business, micro and small business, this is not enough, right? Because they need to also improve their digital literacy into digital skills. So not just digital literacy, but they have to improve digital skills and also digital entrepreneurship, right? So I think, yeah, this obligation is not just belong to the government, right, in order to improving this literacy, but also belong to the private sectors, including fintech, right? So yeah, it is better to have like collaboration between private and government and authorities in order to improve digital financial literacy and digital entrepreneurship. Maybe that's all for me. The answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak. Next question to Mr. Francesco Strobi. How has the regulatory environment evolved to support and hinder fintech innovation in Indonesia? And what changes can we anticipate in the coming years? I think you can contrast it with, other markets outside Indonesia also.
Thanks a lot, Pa Alvin, and let me say that it's an honor for me to be here on behalf of the World Bank Group, and thanks really for inviting me to this event. Now, on the regulatory framework, we have seen Indonesia making a commendable commitment to change and to adapt its regulatory framework to the evolving landscape of fintech. And this is also a signal of how the government is seeing fintech players as being fundamental in advancing financial inclusion and contributing to the development and the economic growth of the country. So the regulatory framework has undergone substantial adjustments over time based on different strategic initiatives. And we have already seen the government engaging with the industry stakeholders, trying to strike a balance between a regulatory framework that is open to innovation, but at the same time is able to preserve the integrity and the stability of the financial system, particularly through consumer protection. So let me just elaborate on this very briefly. If I look at what has been happening so far, I think that the foundational steps can be seen in the different regulations that OJK has been issuing in setting the rules for the financial services in the different subsectors of the financial sector, as well as on the BI side, the payment system blueprint and the issuance of the umbrella regulation on payment. Now, this has been followed by the establishment of sandboxes as a safe space where to test innovation and foster collaboration. And more recently, we have seen an emphasis on consumer protection. And this is very important because it has implications on risk management, on price disclosure, and it contributes to a culture of transparency and accountability within the industry. And on top, it also extends into financial education, which, as you know, when you have educated financial consumers, are those that are able to do sound financial choices. So we have also seen a shift in the supervisory framework, where the framework has moved from an institutional-based perspective to a more risk-based and proportionate approach. Take, for example, the BI regulation on payment system providers, where it has been acknowledged that not all payment system providers have the same level of risk or the same level of complexity. So the regulatory supervisory framework is tailored accordingly. And this is very important because by doing so, you preserve the reliability of the payment system. So this is what happened so far. Now, looking forward and in line with what is happening in other countries in the region as well, I think there are two areas where the regulatory framework will continue to evolve. One is on open banking, and Indonesia has already shown strong interest in that. And it's very important, not just from a competition perspective, but also from an efficiency and a financial inclusion one. The implementation of APIs implies a smooth transmission on data sharing, and also breaks the silos between traditional financial institutions and the more emerging fintech players. But also deploying these APIs and this interoperability means not only give more space to innovative financial products and services, but also to give more possibility to create this level playing field between existing institutions and new entrants. And when it comes to peer-to-peer lending, as a second area, we have seen a tremendous growth of this already, great potential to foster financial inclusion, but also risks related to consumer protection and price disclosure. So interventions like mandating standard requirements for price disclosure or banning deceptive advertising are all interventions that will help strengthening consumer protection and build the trust in the system. We heard about interest rate caps, which might, in a way, limit extreme pricing. But on the other hand, the global experience is also showing that they can reduce overall lending, they can shift lending from the more remote areas, and they can also decrease price transparency. So they really need to be handled with a lot of care. So overall, I think just to conclude, the regulatory framework in Indonesia has been really quite advanced. And this commitment in balancing innovation with an attention to consumer protection and stability is creating the basis for a very solid growth of the industry in the next years.
Cool, thank you. So, just an additional question to Pak Chaikal. How many % of our population do you see is underbanked or unbanked?
Yeah, maybe I recalled about the statistic. the most of our population may be the underbanked, right? Maybe it's around 90 million something, right? And the next is I think the unbanked is around like 40 to 50 million. Yeah. So yeah, it's okay for fintech to target this underbanked, right? And this is huge potential, and definitely it is contributing in our economy, right? But we have that 40 to 50 million still the unbanked, right? And government already tried to provide the internet services, BTS, even the satellite, Satria 1 and everything. So I don't know whether fintech could also maybe start to think to penetrate this daerah 3T something, or
Yes.
in the lagging region, something like that.
Of course, Pak. So it relates to our next question. Given this huge population of underbanked and unbanked, in your opinion, how can fintech industry stakeholder further increase synergy to ensure the industry's optimal growth in the future? And what collaboration areas do you think we should prioritize?
Yeah, this is in my humble opinion, right? The authorities, I don't know, this OJK and Bank Indonesia here, right? I think OJK and Bank Indonesia still prefer more stability over growth. Okay, so yeah, I think it is because of traumatic financial crisis in 1998, and now the central banks, Bank Indonesia, is just becoming more reservers, right? But if you look at the target of government in order to have golden vision in 2045, you need a new resource of growth, right? You need to a little bit leaning toward growth. In order to do so, I think you have also to leaning more to risk-taking policies, right? I don't say that we have to leave the stability, security of the banking, of the financial sectors, no. But a little bit leaning towards innovation and research. So don't punish innovation in their very early stage, right? So give fintech a room, a space, like Pak Strobi bilang, right? So give room to fintech for to grow, right? To have innovation, to at least to provide financial services that are very much suitable for our communities in the lagging regions. Maybe, yeah, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Pak. Now, we're back to Pak Teguh. Looking ahead, Pak Teguh, in 2024 and beyond, what are the key milestones and developments you anticipate for fintech sector in Indonesia? And what challenges should the industry players prepare for?
Yeah, so I tend to say that fintech is the source of innovations, and it will remain so in the future. I remember, let's say, if we recall like back to 5 to perhaps 6 years ago, perhaps when fintechs entered to the financial industry, I think it was a wake-up call for traditional financial services, including banks as well. So they do the transformation. So many banks, change the business process, change the way we do the banking, we transform, digitalize. It's because of fintech. So I think that's, even though some may say that there is a fierce competition between traditional financial services, if we say that banks as traditional with fintechs, at the end of the day, I think this is some, like perhaps sort of collaboration to extend that to build or to strengthen our financial system in Indonesia. Now, we see that the ecosystems, there is still room for growth for the fintech and also the digital payment ecosystem, including e-commerce as well. Another one, I think, given that fintech is the source of innovation, we anticipate perhaps with the new technological progress, let's say blockchain or artificial intelligence, I think it will be adopted by the next I don't know whether in the next 2 years or even next year perhaps. So now the issue I think is coming from the regulatory framework. Francesco mentions about that as well. So because sometimes the technology, the innovations run faster, meanwhile the regulatory framework still try to catch up. So I think these things should be anticipated by regulators regarding the adoption of the new technology. The third one, I think there are some perceptions, like in fintech, like I'm not saying like a negative way, but some suspicious way, for instance, regarding some products. So there are some trust issue. I think Pak Mahendra also mentioned in this morning. So I think this is another challenge for the fintech industry. And of course, one of the big thing is about the data security, data privacy, and this is a challenge for all industry. But of course, fintech will face the challenge because some issues in the past related with players in fintech industry. So I think those are opportunities and also challenges ahead that we might face 2024 or in the next 2 years. Pak Alvin.
Thank you, Pak. Francesco, so back to you. What are your thoughts on Indonesia's fintech industry potential in the future? And what do you think must be done to secure Indonesia's position as Southeast Asia fintech market leader and perhaps become the fintech market leader of Asia?
Thank you, Palvin. So, the Indonesian fintech industry has a tremendous potential, which is fueled by a large and digitally enabled population. And so if you bring together the size of the market in Indonesia, the strategic geographical position, really, poise Indonesia as a potential key player in Southeast Asia. And in order to leverage this, I think the trick is not just to focus on the domestic demand, but also in try to see also how to build Indonesia as a regional hub for innovation. Now, to get to that point, there are a few areas that needs to be addressed. The one is, as we are just saying, the addressing financial inclusion. As Pachaika was telling us, right? So this very large share of unbanked and underbanked population in Indonesia is a great opportunity for fintech to promote financial inclusion. If you just think that in 2017, there were less than 1% mobile money accounts, and these by 2021 have grown to 9%. So huge potential there of using digital platform to bring the excluded into the system through fintech. And by bringing more people in the system, this will also contribute to the growth of fintech. So it's a sort of a win-win situation. Opportunities like digitizing merchant payments. If you think that 25% of account owners have made digital payments in 2021, and of these 16% made it for the first time during the pandemic. But then there are still 78 million Indonesians which are making merchant payments in cash. So if we start digitizing those payments for SMEs, it's going to build a credit history that can be used then against inventory management and for access to credit, right? So that's a sort of low-hanging fruit which is there, which is the great opportunity where fintech could go. Another area, as we discussed, is having an agile regulatory framework. So as we said, a framework that is able to adapt to innovation as it goes and it doesn't get stuck in a conservative manner in trying to preserve positions which are going to be bypassed by the time. But then, and that's the third area, having a regulatory framework per se is not sufficient. You need also a very strong and developed digital and financial infrastructure. Indonesia, like India and Singapore, can build its digital stack for promoting the digital economy. Now, what you need is a universal digital ID, you need a reliable payment system, you need a trust framework, and you need, of course, better connectivity and cybersecurity. So these are all elements that will help to establish a strong infrastructure. Now, as we said before, this goes hand in hand with a stronger consumer protection regime. Financial education is important, is great, is indeed going to create those, to lower the risk for consumers when they start using digital technologies, but is not sufficient. So you need to have in place very stringent consumer protection and data protection regimes that will help to build the trust for the consumers when they embark in the digital journey. And then the last area is a very promising one. We as the World Bank, we are really looking at it very closely, which is the green fintech. So the fact that fintech in Indonesia not only play a key role in advancing innovation, but can also play a key role in advancing environmental sustainability. Many of the fintechs nowadays are already engaging in green sectors. They are part of electric vehicles or renewable energy value chains. So they are promoting the growth of these sectors that will be really beneficial for the economy. They can and they should, involve more and use the OJK Green Taxonomy in categorizing the type of products that they offer. So with green loans that have also this type of environmental impact. So overall, by taking together all these elements, regulatory framework, the infrastructure, consumer protection, the green focus, I think there is a very strong potential for Indonesia fintech industry to become not only a leader in the Southeast Asia, but probably in the whole Asian continent.
Thank you so much for the insight, Francesco. Seems we have a lot of things to do going ahead. Yeah. So to wrap up this session, I would like to kindly ask each panelist to provide a short closing remarks related to the topic. We start with Pak Teguh.
Yeah, thank you. So I think if we see the discussions, given that we have large tech-savvy populations, young populations, and also a large population that has no access to finance, I think this is opportunities for growth for the fintech industry. But of course, the challenges and also issues that need to be addressed is on, like the data privacy issues and also trust, and from the regulatory side. And I think we should have more solid or good fundamental on the regulations regarding this fintech, because there are some risks associated with this in the financial sectors. Thank you.
Okay, next short remark from Pak Chaikal, closing remark.
Yeah, thank you. So as we may know that our financial inclusion is very much higher than the rate of financial literacy, right? But this is financial inclusion based on usage. So it is a little bit concerning about this low financial literacy, right? So I know that FinTech already have program on increasing financial literacy, digital literacy, let alone the financial digital literacy, right? So yeah, I would like to maybe a collaboration on the how you could also push Ministry of Education maybe to insert to the curriculums in elementary school, right, to the financial and digital literacy and also digital entrepreneurship. And second, maybe I would like to call FinTech at least to promote more on saving rather than lending, because in empirical development economics we know that saving is crucial in order to graduating the poor people out of poverty, and also for the non-poor families, saving could be the instrument for consumption smoothing. I don't know how, but I know this is regulatory is very, forbidden for the fintech to take deposits from the communities. But please you could also promote it, right? To do to promoting saving, not just lending like that. And I would like to also maybe calling the authorities, maybe one day they could just acknowledge digital wallets, becoming or similar to the traditional banking account like that. I think That's three that I would like to wrap on this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak Chaikal. Lastly, Francesco, your closing remark, please.
Thank you. Yes, just as to echo what my colleagues in this panel have said, so financial inclusion remains a big challenge. Despite the very good progress that has been done so far, the numbers are just in front of us, right? So there is still a lot that can be done. But on the other hand, Indonesia can count on very competent financial sector authorities, very committed ones. You have a very dynamic and vibrant fintech industry. You have a large population. So these are all elements that are really, going to support a very effective journey towards financial inclusion through innovation technology. And we as World Bank are definitely supporting this, and we are happy to support Indonesia in this journey.
Thank you so much, Pa, for your support and advice. Ladies and gentlemen, it was truly an honor to hear from our distinguished panelists and their respective perspectives on Indonesia Fintech's industry, as well as their great expectation for further growth in 2024 and beyond. And with that, I would like to close off this session. A big round of applause for our distinguished panelists. Thank you for sharing your insights, and thank you for the discussion. We hope you all safe and healthy. This is Alwin Kimas signing out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvin Jabati Kemas, and all speakers for such a fruitful discussion. You may return now to your seats.